there's a very common usage, which is, or a very common feature in games, I should say, not usage, where you want to fade the UI in and out. So if I have a UI here, or anything, you want to fade a scene in and out. What you typically do is you set up the UI and then you add a canvas group. So I'm going to do that just now. So I have my UI here and I'm going to add canvas group. And canvas group is great because if I run this, I think it runs in the editor as well, but whatever. The current alpha setting is 1, but if I grab it and then scroll it up and down, you see that all the buttons and all the controls, everything that's on that canvas group fades out. Now you can do this for every canvas or parts of the canvas as well. So generally what you want to do is you want to fade from one value to another value. And that is typically done inside here. So let's say what I'm going to do is I'm going to fake this. I'm going to say IEnumerable start yield return new wait 4 seconds. I'm going to wait for 2 seconds and then I'm going to call a fade out. Okay, so do fade out. Okay, and now do fade out is going to be something that somebody else calls. So this is typically somebody else is going to call this function. You're writing for you're on the UI team or whatever. And you're writing this function. So now I'm going to make this public. Let's say public void do fade out. Okay, so do fade out. And what this coroutine is going to do is it's going to take the current alpha of the canvas group. So I'm going to say public canvas group. Canvas group, and it's going to fade it out. So it's fairly typical that it's going to do this. So I'm going to say, what have we got? We've got start coroutine fade to black, something like that. Okay. And then I've got my IEnumerable fade to black. And then inside here, I will have something like, what am I going to have? I'm going to have float alpha equals 1. And then I'm going to have float time equals 0f. And then I'm going to do while time is less than 1. And I might have like a duration as well. So I can do public float duration equals 1f. So that's the number of seconds that it's going to be. And then the delta is going to be the time no it's not, it's going to be time dot delta time divided by duration. So that's the delta time, and then I'm going to say alpha minus equals delta time minus equals delta. And then I'm going to have my canvas group dot alpha equals alpha, and that would be time plus equals delta. Oops. And then I'm going to do yield return null, and then just at the very end there, just to make sure it goes to nothing, I'm going to do canvas group dot alpha equals 0. So fairly typical. I think. I don't think that's a sort of big shock to anyone how you fade out a canvas. It's fairly straightforward, but it's very messy. That's the only problem. And we're going to clean it up a little bit, especially now because we've got errors. What's up here? Fade to black. Start coroutine. Fade to black. Can't read the error messages. So yeah, IEnumerator, start IEnumerator, fade to black. I can urge you that you really want to use coroutines wherever possible. It's the Unity way, it's what they recommend, use coroutines. So we have this here, so now it's going to wait 2 seconds and it's going to fade to black, or blue in this case. But only if I add it to a canvas. Fade canvas. Okay, so the canvas group is just going to be the canvas itself, and it's going to be duration of 1. And so I'm going to play that, and then it's going to wait 2 seconds and then fade out. Okay, so that's it. No secret there. Now, what if you want? What if you want to? What if you want to fade this from the current alpha, or if you want to fade this from you want to fade it up? So what a lot of people will do is they will, you know, they'll either pass in parameters here, and then they'll change this from minus to equals and all this kind of stuff, and end up getting in this horrible mess. I have a better way. What I'm going to suggest is I'm going to suggest that we create an animation curve factory, and what we do is we do this in such a way that we can then have it whichever way we want. Okay, we can have it going in, going out, fading to black, moving across the screen, whatever you want to do. And the way we do that is I'm going to create an animation curve factory. So this is my script here. It's a static class, and it's going to have one method, so it's going to be public static animation curve create, and then it's going to take in float start value, float end value, and that's it. That's all it takes in. And then I'm going to create an animation curve. Goes new animation curve, and I'm going to do curve dot add key, and then the time. So at time 0 it's going to be the start value, and then curve dot add key at the time 1f it's going to be the end value, and that's it. That's all we do. That is my animation curve factory. And I wish I would stop doing that. Going too far there. So that's all that is inside this class, is just this one function. And it's a static function as well, so we do animation curve factory. So let's just change that to curve factory, because it's a bit of a mouthful. Still trying to go over my nice summer cold as well. Okay, so animation curve, the start position of this curve is 0, and then the end position is 1. The start value is that, the end value is that. Now what you can do is you can then put in your other function in there that, you know, have a nice, you know, ease in, ease out. And this is super easy to do, and it's, again, it's built-in functionality that is inside Unity. So now, instead of doing all of this, what we can do is we can get rid of the alpha. We can actually just have that as a, we don't even need that now. So we can say animation curve, curve equals curve factory dot create, and then it's the start value, which is 1f, and then the end value, which is 0f, because we start at full opacity and we end up going to full transparency. And then the alpha is actually the value at this time here. So our delta is just, we always increase in time. So we can take that out, put that in there, and that's us adding on to our time. So we add on to our time, and then we just evaluate the curve. So we do curve dot evaluate, and then whatever time we've got. So whatever time we're at is what we've got there. And you see we're making this a lot simpler than it really has to be. And that's it. That's all there is to it. That's our rewrite. And we can get rid of that generic one there as well. I think that's us. And so when we go back to Unity, you'll see that it does exactly the same thing. Pause for 2 seconds, fades out. And the nice thing is, what we can do is we can actually specify the direction of it instead of this. So what we can do is we can actually do fade, and then we pass in curve. So we pass in our animation curve. So instead of fade to black being there, we can actually do, just get rid of that there, paste this into here. So this makes our routine even shorter. So now we're passing in our, we're passing this into fade. And so what we do is we start in here. Now, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to do the fade out here, and then I can't wait after that. I'm just going to fade back up again, so it's just going to bounce. But you'll see the sort of the effect of that. So again, all I'm doing is I'm saying start coroutine fade, and this is my opacity. So I'm saying I'm doing full opacity to full transparency, and then this one is doing full transparency to full opacity. And I haven't changed anything in here. The call is exactly the same thing, it's just those different values. And now my fade routine is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we will now, it'll now fade out, and then it'll pop back up again. Well, that's not exactly what it was supposed to do, is it? Because it does the start coroutine there. Ah, that's why. Oh, I can't do it that way. Okay, my example's not going to work. Okay, let me think. All right, it's not going to work, but let me. My example there is garbage. Let me put it this way. I'll do the fade up. So let's assume we're fading up, okay? So I'm going to bring my my canvas group. Where's my canvas? I'm going to bring my alpha down to 0, and then I'm going to run this, and you'll see that it's going to wait 2 seconds, then it's going to fade up. Oh, one more thing to fix. The canvas group alpha, we need to evaluate that at time 1, okay? And the reason why we do that is just to make sure that it goes to the very last one, because we don't want it to be that we're going to get floating point inaccuracies with this and with this. So we don't want it to go to like 0.998. We want it to go to 1. So at the very end, we want to evaluate the curve at the very last one. So now when we run it, it'll work. And once it's worked, we're out the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow. Hi guys, thank you very much for watching. This is part of the Video a Day in September 2017 videos. If you liked it or you didn't like it, hit the appropriate button below. Subscribe, so if you hit the little icon over there, then you'll get notified
especially when you hit the little alarm icon. That's the really important part, apparently. Then you'll get notified when a new video goes up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.